Well, that Thunder versus Mavericks game was very interesting, and I think this really showed who is the true premier guard in the NBA at this current time. Obviously, I pretty much prefer Luka going up into this game, leading up into this game, and for the past couple of games, between these two teams over the years, it has pretty much gone the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic's way. But this year is kind of different, This year, even without Chet Holmgren, the Thunder are actually killing right now. So let's get into this game. Obviously, like I said, it's an NBA Cup matchup to advance to the final game. And Thunder, Mavericks, two Western Conference powerhouses. The Mavericks have been on a true roll right now. They've just been killing, playing fast, playing up-tempo, even without Luka Doncic. So having him back, that was just going to add to that firepower. And the Thunder had different plans. So obviously you got Shai, you got Luka. These are supposed to be the top two guards in the league guards. Obviously, are they point guards? Are they shooting guards? Are they small forwards? They're like 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". But they're going at it with each other. And this is for bragging rights. This is to show who's actually the top dog. So whoever was going to perform the best, this is the matchup right here on the biggest stage. This is an NBA Cup game. So you had to upstage your opponent. So that was how the feel of it was going into the game. But after the game, we all kind of got a clear picture of who is that guy. And the MVP of the game had to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because he absolutely dominated. 39 points. It felt like he was making everything. Like, watching that game, I was like, man, he doesn't miss. You know what I mean? And he doesn't miss because, getting to his spots, he's very slithery and slippery when he's operating. He got a smooth handle. He can get to any spot on the floor. He bumps you off, creates space. Everybody say he like to draw fouls and do all of that. But this game, he didn't really go to the line that much. He was really just operating, just a master operator. Just getting to his spots. That short mid-range area, he's a master at that. I talked about that in my other video on Iowa women's basketball. Lucy Olsen, she likes to get to that area as well. But here, Shai, he's a master at that. And you can't really stop him. And then you add on top of that the fact that he has the 3-point going now as well. How do you stop that? And he's playmaking. So his numbers look, and it has been looking like this for like the past couple of years. But they're looking like Jordan type numbers. You know what I mean? His advanced metrics pan out. His EPM numbers look good, just amongst other things. But, two-way player, scores very efficiently, gets to his spots, big guard. There's nothing much you can do with him. So, obviously, going into this game, as far as like the Thunder strategy, obviously they're a defensive-minded team. They got the best defense in the league. And they want to turn you over. They want to force you into taking shots. You can tell their coach how he talks. He's a very analytical-minded coach where he want to get you to take the shots that he wants you to take, the lowest percentage shots. He has his calculator out. That's kind of the theme going into this modern NBA. Everybody has their calculator out now. So, he wants to get you into those, bad shots. He wants to get the ball out of Luka hands, get the ball out of Kyrie hands, force them to swing it to the corner shot and make that player have to beat you, have to win the game for them. And that player couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you got Klay Thompson. He made like 5 threes or something like that. But, he was missing timely threes though. Like, he made threes, but the timely shots is what killed them. They kept missing timely shots that they should have been making at the right moments to, get that momentum going, to really, stop momentum for the other team. And they couldn't do that. So Naji Marshall also played pretty well for them. He was just getting to the basket when he wanted to. Very good player. A lot of people didn't know what to expect from Naji Marshall at the beginning of the year. I've been watching the Pelicans for a minute, so I knew what he was. He's a true dog. He's, he just does things that you don't expect him to do. You know what I mean? Like, he just in the right place at the right time, make the right shots at the right time. But that didn't save him though, because obviously like I said, they was missing threes. You take the ball out of Luka and Kyrie hands, especially Luka, and force everybody else to beat you. Now, what I do like about the Mavs is they very they know how to get their bigs involved. Their bigs having great years, you know what I mean? Because, especially from a finishing perspective, because they catching everything, you know what I mean? All they got to do is just toss it up to them, and they catching it. So, Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, the second, they both are they got great hands. They know how to operate, you know. Since Luka is getting two took to him, like they sending two at Luka, they sending two at Kyrie, those two bigs are going to have to make a lot of decisions, and they've been very good at making those decisions. So, great hands, great finishing ability. You know, can't really complain about them, but at the end of the day, they can't really create their own offense like that. So, it's still going to be dependent on Kyrie and a Luka to actually, you know, get to where they wanted to get to. And that's the thing about the Thunder. Going back to the Thunder, they got great guards. Great guard defender. So you got Alex Caruso on Kyrie. You got a Lou Dort on a Luka. Physical, you know what I mean? Staying his grill. Playing team defense as well. Forcing, you know, them to take the shots they want them to take. And that's tough. So Luka very much struggled. He didn't really get going to like the fourth quarter or whatever. He ended up finishing with 15, but a lot of the game, he wasn't getting shots. He wasn't getting, you know, he wasn't making shots. So, you know, they had a real good strategy on Luka. And if you're Luka, that's the problem. You know what I mean? Because it's like, how can you get going if a great defender is on you? Like, what can you do? What alternative things can you do besides, you know, just creating off the dribble, creating your step backs, you know, getting to your spots, playing that slow rhythm game? Like, how can you get going in other ways? Can you post up? Can you come off screens? Can you do other things? Can you come off handoffs? Like, there got to be other ways to get Luka going, because if you could just stick a great defender on him, you know, trap him, you know, take away his ball screen, take away his on-ball creation ability, then he has nothing else. And that kind of limits him. You know what I mean? Like, other great players, you can play them off ball, you can post them up, you can, you know, play them in ways where, you know, somebody else is creating for them. With Luka, is like, if you stop his creation, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing much to his game after that. So, you know, we think of Luka, you know, as this premier guard because he put up the gaudy stats. He put up the triple doubles. You know what I mean? He's a great player, but it's like, man, I don't know. Like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's right there, because it's like, you can play him off the ball. He can cut. He can do these things. He can make open threes. He can, you know, come off handoffs and come off all of these different actions, have other people creating, put it in Jalen Williams' hands and have him go to work. When they get Chet Holmgren back, come on, man, like, spacing. So their defense, like I said, the Thunder defense was very good, and they didn't have Chet Holmgren, who is their premier rim protector. You know what I mean? Very versatile as a floor spacer. So if they doing that right now without Chet Holmgren, this is a championship team. Like, at full strength, I want to see them at full strength, and I want to see the Boston Celtics at full strength. Because when you got the Celtics, you got a Porzingis type. Like, Chet Holmgren is like a Porzingis, so it kind of match up right there. Then you got the two, you know, I would say lead ball handler, lead creators on the team. You got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and then you got Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They pretty much play similar roles. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Then you got role players around that. So you got Lou Dort on the Thunder. You got Drew Holiday, you see what I'm saying, on the Celtics. And then you got Alex Caruso, and then you got Derek White. You know what I mean? So it match up extremely well. Extremely well. So this is going to be an interesting dynamic going forward, because are people going to, like, really finally start to give Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that credit? Like, this is a big matchup, in my opinion, for him, because this shows, like, okay, there is no other guard. You see what we just did to Luka without Chet Holmgren. Like, we really turned him over. And don't get me wrong, like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he was playing phenomenal defense in the passing lanes. He was playing up, pressing up. You know, if he got switched on, you know, one of the other lead guards, he held his own. You know, got his hands where he needed to get them, got deflections, got blocks. So Shai does it on both sides. He can play off ball. He can create on ball, create his own offense. Like, I'm not sure, like, a lot of people give Luka this title, like, okay, he's the number one guard in the league. And I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he is. You know what I mean? I'm just going back on a case-to-case basis, on a game-to-game basis. So, but this game, like, and lately, you got to give Shai his props. You know what I mean? Like, he may be that top dog. And, you know, Luka, like, that MVP for Luka is very evasive. You know what I mean? It's like, dang, you know, he's right there. He got the numbers, you know, his team record, this and that. You know what I mean? But it's like, man, you see these other players, you know what I mean, that's putting up these gaudy stats as well. You know what I mean? Like, Shai he's killing it right now. You know what I mean? So, like, you got to take that into account. So, as far as Luka goes, you know, he got to figure out a way to get going offensively. You know what I mean? Like, people going to start, like, the leagues, the teams around the league, they're going to start playing him that way. You know what I mean? Like, getting the ball out of his hands, you know what I mean, trapping them. Like, we're just going to send everything at you. You can't really do anything. Your teammate's not going to do anything for you. So, it's like, how can you figure out how to get past that? You know what I mean? How can Jason Kidd help him get past that? As far as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, people are really starting, they're going to have to respect this young Thunder team. Like, people want to put them off like, oh, this is a young team. They're not that experienced. They're not going to be able to win. Like, these guys are for real. This is a very deep team, a very defensive team. They don't have to outscore you like that. Like, every other team, they're just trying to outscore you. This team, they don't have to outscore you because they're going to get their deflections. They're going to turn you over. They're going to make you take tough shots. They're long, athletic. They got the full dynamic that you need. So, I want to see them against a Celtics team. I want to see them against the Cavs. Like these are teams that they got the full repertoire. They got everything that they need. And, like, every other team, they look like, when they play the Thunder, they look like they bow down. You know what I mean? Really. Like, teams are really starting to bow down to the Thunder, especially in the West right now, because this is the premier team. So, obviously, you got the Grizzlies coming up. You got, you know, the Warriors kind of cooled off. The Lakers cooled off. The Suns, they've been hurt. So, the Rockets, young team, they've been playing well, but they're a young team as well. They're even younger than everybody. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be an interesting dynamic. Shai Gilgeous, when in the third quarter, just absolutely took off. Isaiah Joe hit that incredible buzzer beater shot. And like I said, one thing I will be critical of with the Thunder, though, is they take a lot of threes when they don't have the shooters. And Candace Parker kind of pointed this out during the broadcast, where she was like, you know,
it's Dort to Wallace to Williams. Lively. Lost it inside. Wallace dug it out. Dort three. Rebound Lively.
And if you're OKC, you can't fall in love with the jump shot too much. You have to understand that your bread and butter is getting to the paint and putting the ball in SGA's hands.
Step back three, Luka. Rebound is pulled down by Isaiah Joe to Casey Wallace.
Already, this is 25.
Like, they just going to keep taking threes. You know what I mean? Alex Caruso kept taking threes. And you can kind of tell, like, during the game, like, first half, that's what they were doing. The second half, they kind of went away from that because it was like, all right, we taking too many threes. But I noticed, like, that is kind of the problem with the NBA. Like, even whether it was the Mavericks or whether it was the Thunder, these teams are just trying to shoot threes. They're trying to get to those threes, regardless of if they got the shooters or not. And when that ball move around like that, you know, you get the ball out of the hand and swing around, like, if you're not making that three, when they get to the corner, why not drive in, you know, hit a mid-range? Why not drive in for a layup? Why not drive in for a dunk or something like that? It's just strictly about threes. You know what I mean? Like, or drive in and drive and kick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why it has to be, you know, that initial shot. You know what I mean? So, but they was making it. Like, sometimes they made them, especially in the second half. Like, they was making them. But it's like, you know, that becomes hard to watch. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like, we're here to watch Kyrie, Luka, and Shai put on the show. But if you just trapping them and stuff like that. But then that goes into another thing. Like, why do these players need ball screens that much? You know what I mean? Like, why do you need that many ball screens because that's automatically going to bring it to. You know what I mean? So that was just my thoughts. You know, interesting game, very good game. You know, this has a lot of implications going forward for the playoffs. You know, this got a lot of implications for MVP races and where Shai and Luka are as far as going head to head. You know what I mean? Like, Shai, Luka, and Ant, those are the three premier guards in the league right now. So, you know, this is a struggle. This is a power struggle. You know, I want to see Shai do the same thing to Ant as well. So it's like, you know, who is that top guard? We got to figure that out because, like, you know, just being a good player, that doesn't mean anything. If you want to take your team to that next level, if you want to start winning, you got to establish yourself as the premier guard. You know what I mean? Luka got, he went very far. He beat the Thunder. He went very far last year, but he couldn't get over the hump of the Celtics. I feel like this Thunder team can get over the hump. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to take that into account. But that's it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think? Who do you think is the best guard in the league? Is it Luka? Is it Shai? Is it Ant? Also, if you want to follow along with these storylines, the Ant storyline, the Luka storyline, the Shai storyline, make sure you hit that subscribe button, share this video, and give me a like. But without further ado, peace.